Welcome back to Frank Predict. Let's start with a quick recap of what has happened so far. The last Premier League games, Man City got destroyed by Arsenal 5-1. That was a big surprise. I didn't see that coming. I thought Arsenal had a chance to win the game because they were at home, and I felt like they were the better team because they've been defending very well, and everybody knows City has issues and they've been struggling. But I didn't expect 5-1, so that was one shocking performance from Arsenal in the sense that they did really well, right? They coped with Man City, they forced City to make mistakes, and they took their chances, which is something you don't always say about Arsenal because Arsenal, they always create chances and they don't take them. But on that day, they took their chances and they destroyed Man City. Next game was a London derby between Chelsea and West Ham. I said that London derby was 50-50. I thought that that game was going to be close, even though Chelsea is playing at home. I said, see, there's nothing between both teams, right? You can go either way, and Chelsea won that game 2-1. The next game was United at home to Crystal Palace. I said, see, I don't have any faith in United. I don't know what's happening at United. I would not be surprised if Palace win. And you know what? Palace won the game 2-0. So I was disappointed, but I was not shocked because I said with United, you don't know what you get. You can get anything, right? Any team can beat United at the moment. That's how bad United is. Liverpool was going away to Bournemouth. That was a big game. It was a big game for Liverpool because before then, Bournemouth was like 14 games unbeaten. They beat everybody. They beat Newcastle, Forest, United, Arsenal, Man City. You know, they were getting results against everybody. But I said I fancy Liverpool to get a result at Bournemouth. I said it was going to be a very difficult game for Liverpool, but I just felt like Liverpool had a little bit more quality than Bournemouth to win the game. And apparently, Liverpool ended up scoring 2 goals in the last, 4 or 5 minutes to win the game. So that's like a recap of what happened the last time there was a Premier League game. So this week, there's an early kickoff in the sense that the first game of the week is on Friday as opposed to the normal Saturday and Sunday. And who goes first? Chelsea. Chelsea go to Brighton. You know, in the FA Cup game when Chelsea was going to Brighton, because that's kind of the same fixture in the FA Cup, I said, you know what? I said Chelsea have to be ready, otherwise Brighton is going to win. And Brighton actually beat Chelsea and, you know, they knocked Chelsea out. I think I made a post. I didn't do a video for that one, but I did make a post to say, you know what? Chelsea, you have to be ready. If you're not careful, Brighton is going to knock you out because I kind of expected Brighton to win. This time, I feel different. I kind of feel like Chelsea is going to get a result in this game. The reason is because most times when two teams play each other within the space of 3 to 4 days, it's rare for one team to win both games. Even if it's maybe a big team playing a smaller team, it's still not very easy for that big team to win both games, right? So I'm just looking at the fact that after that game, Brighton already beat Chelsea 2-1. Chelsea will have gone back, look at the mistakes they made, and, you know, work on those mistakes. And again, this is a top four race. The top four is at stake, right? So they have to get a result because the next game on Saturday, I think, is Newcastle playing Man City, and any of them that win go above Chelsea, right? And this is an opportunity for Chelsea. I think both Newcastle and Man City are on 41. Chelsea is on 43. So this is an opportunity for Chelsea to get a win and maybe open 5 point gap over Man City and Newcastle, and then hope that the game ends in the draw when Man City and Newcastle play each other, because then that's how you start building the gap, because then it becomes 4 point gap. So I think for Chelsea, this is a key game in their fight for top four. I know they have some players injured, defenders injured. Jackson is not going to be playing as well. But again, if you look at it, Jackson has not scored for a while, right? So I still just fancy Chelsea to get a result. I know they're going away to Brighton. Again, this would not make any sense in the sense that Brighton just beat them, right? But I think for this particular fixture, I fancy Chelsea to get a result at Brighton. I would go for an outright Chelsea win. I mean, it could be a draw. There's a very high chance that it could be a draw, but I will go for a Chelsea win. I believe that Chelsea will grind out this result, and you know they will get a result at Brighton. The next game, early Saturday kickoff, is Arsenal vs Leicester City. Oh, I feel like Arsenal. I don't want to say Arsenal is falling apart, but how else can you describe it, right? They started the season with Saka, with all their players fit. and they were calling out for a striker, right? Every Arsenal fan will tell you we need a striker. In all the podcasts, they talk about how they need a striker because they believe that if they get a striker, they will be able to compete and probably go on to win the league. Then the January transfer window opens and close. Arsenal did not get a striker. Instead, Arsenal ended up with more injuries because now with Arsenal, Martinelli I think is out, Jesus is out, Saka is out, even Havertz himself is out. So now Arsenal is just left with that front three of Trossard, Nwaneri, and Sterling. And I made a post. I said, see, I don't trust these guys to deliver in a title race, right? In a title race, you need the best of the best, right? If you look at Liverpool, they have Salah. Salah is someone that from nothing, he will just score. If you look at the game against Everton, he didn't do anything in that game. He rarely touched the ball, but from nothing, he will just score. Man City, when they were in the title race, they had Haaland. When games are tight, he might not even touch the ball, he will just score. So I feel like you need that clinical finisher to be able to go on the title running, right? Because when we get to like 8 to 10 games to the end of the season, it's more difficult. That's when you go to all the smaller teams, they are fighting for relegation, they need the points, they defend. Some of them, they want that goal difference, they defend. So it becomes more difficult for you to get a result. That's when you need all your guys. So for Arsenal, I just feel like with all these guys missing and no option, probably like the game on Saturday, the option on the bench will be maybe some academy players. I've read about the possibility of using Merino as a top nine. That guy's not a striker, he's a midfielder, right? So he would never be able to make the runs that a striker will make. And even for me personally, I know people criticize Havertz. I feel like Havertz is a big miss. I look at the way Arsenal play. When teams press Arsenal, there's always a long ball that goes to Havertz. He wins the ball, right? So, but without him, I don't really see who else is going to be taking the long ball because you know what? Sterling, Trossard, Nwaneri, all of them, they're the same height, right? So defenders will fancy themselves against these guys and say, you know what, we can bully these guys because obviously we have more physical presence than them. So what do I think will happen in the game against Leicester City? I think it's 50-50. I think it's 50-50, to be honest. I will always say Arsenal is favourite to win against Leicester City if everybody is available. Even if Havertz was available, for example, I will say Arsenal is favourite to win against Man City, right? But without Havertz and you're going with Sterling and you're going, sorry, not Man City, Leicester City. Without Havertz and, you know, you're now going with Sterling and Nwaneri and Trossard. I think the good thing is that the three guys that they have in the front three can actually switch. You know, this guy can be here now. They can move from left to right to center. That's the good thing. But I feel like you need a presence, right? You need a presence. In the absence of Havertz, I feel like Arsenal, they might get chances. I don't know if they will take them, but they will probably start leaning towards corner kicks, right? Relying on Gabriel to score or Saliba. And you cannot be relying on your defenders to score for you from corner kicks in a title race. So for me, I feel like that game is 50-50. Leicester is in a relegation battle. I looked at the game they played against United. I thought they did really well. And United won at the last minute with an offside goal in the FA Cup. I felt like they were really unlucky to lose that game. And again, of course, they went to Old Trafford. At Old Trafford, you know, there's pressure, the fans and everything. United somehow just find a way, even if they're not playing well. I felt like in that game, Leicester played really well. They controlled most part of the games, and at least they deserve to get a result, even if it's a draw. And now they will be at home in front of their home fans. The thing is, Leicester is going to fancy themselves against Arsenal. When they went to Arsenal's home, I remember Arsenal was leading 2-0, and then they came from 2-0 and it was 2-2. And, you know, they played out the game, and then Arsenal ended up scoring, in the 91st minute through a corner kick. And then before they got another goal to win 4-2. So it was not straightforward, right? So now, with all those big boys not there, you know, as I said, all their Jesus, their Havertz, their Martinelli not there, Leicester at home will surely fancy themselves against Arsenal because they'll feel like, oh, you know, we have a chance here. And for the big teams, as we've seen with Man City, the respect you get from the smaller teams, it's kind of what makes the big teams dominate. when you go to a smaller team and they are willing to defend, then you have less pressure. But when you go to a smaller team and they feel like, you know what, we can go head to head with you, we can compete against you, then that's when it's more problem for the bigger team. So I feel like with Arsenal and Leicester City, I will be watching that game. I think it's 50-50. Yes, Arsenal can still go on to win that game. I see a lot of pundits predicting 1-0. 1-0 is 50-50. 1-0 can go either ways, right? I see the pundits predicting 1-0 for Arsenal, meaning they don't really have too much faith that that will be an easy game for Arsenal. But if you flip it around, like last week, before all this Martinelli injury, before Havertz injury, that would have been an easy 3 point for Arsenal. And that's the problem with these injuries. All these small games will not be easy 3 point for Arsenal anymore. You see, so that's where the issue is in this title race. So yeah, for me, I feel like that game is 50-50. Probably a draw, but yeah, it will be a very, very close game. Then after that is the game between Man City and Newcastle. I said both of them are going for the top four. Newcastle, they've been on form, then they dropped for a while, then they picked up. They had that impressive win over Arsenal. They did really well to knock Arsenal out of the EFL Cup and they advanced to the final. And if you look at Isak, one small chance he takes it, causing problem for defenders. And to be honest, Arsenal, they have better defenders than Man City, right? Gabriel, Saliba, they are better than the guys that City have in defense. So you expect Isak to make runs, and City with all those their high lines, I think Isak will make runs, he runs behind the defense, he will get chances, and it just comes down to who takes the most chances because City is playing at home. We all know City create chances. City always score. They score goals at home. Even against Madrid, they scored 2. So they score at home, right? They scored 3 against Chelsea. If you go back, you see that City, they always score 2, 3 goals. The issue is they concede. So this Newcastle Man City game comes straight down to who scores the most goals. That's all. Both of them will get chances. Who takes the most chances? City have this second leg against Madrid on Tuesday. I don't know if that will affect their team selection. Will they keep players on the bench because they're thinking about the Madrid game? Will they go full team? So again, depends on what City does in that game as well. If City starts saying, oh, you know what, let's drop players, let's look at the Madrid game, then you know what, Newcastle might as well just go on and win the game. But if City play the strongest team, then it goes down to who takes the most chances. Because as I said, I feel Newcastle can defend better, but the thing is, City at home, they will always get chances. They'll dominate possession, they will get chances. If Newcastle get their chances, if they bury them, then they can get something out of the game. What do I think? Again, for me, that game is 50-50. More like a draw, but it can go as a win for either Man City or Newcastle. Those kind of games are really difficult to call in the sense that it can go either ways, right? Both teams, they both need the point. They're fighting for the top 4. I feel like none of them wants to lose because it's against your direct rival. They're both on 41. So they'll rather play out a draw and take 1 point each than just gamble and lose, and then the other team gives you 3 points gap. So I feel like even though I said yes, both of them attack, it's going to still be a game whereby, yeah, there will be some caution. You don't just, believe that there will be goals in the game. Isak, Haaland, these guys, they score, right? I think Haaland is the second top scorer in the league after Salah, and then Isak is the third. So these guys, they have goals in them. So yeah, it will be an entertaining game to watch. Then on Sunday, I think the early kickoff is Liverpool versus Wolves. After the derby, I think Liverpool did not play well in the derby. I feel like that's one game whereby I've seen Liverpool just struggle with maybe the occasion, the atmosphere and everything. I feel like Everton dominated the game, had chances, they missed those chances. If Everton was a clinical team, they probably would have won that game. But again, Wolves, they're still struggling in that relegation battle, and going away to Liverpool, it's always difficult. It's difficult for everybody, right? If you look at Liverpool's record at home. So I know some pundits are predicting that Wolves will get a result, but I don't just see how Wolves is going to get a result. I think Liverpool is going to win this game, right? Liverpool is going to win the game and they're going to win it comfortably. That's just why I think I don't think we should. I don't want to waste time on that game. I think it's going to be a win for Liverpool. I would not say easy win because no game in the Premier League is easy, but that would be a win for Liverpool. It would not be a complicated game like the one against Everton. In fact, after the Everton result, with the way the game ended, Liverpool conceding that last minute goal and that feeling of injustice, I feel like Liverpool is just going to quickly go, because again, when that game kicks off, it's possible that Arsenal will have won and then the gap will be 4. So then Liverpool is under pressure to make it 7, because Liverpool, they have to win the game. Their next 3 games after that, the game against Wolves is Newcastle is there, Aston Villa is there, Man City is there. I will do another video next week to talk about these games. Looking at those fixtures, I think Liverpool can beat Aston Villa away, and I think at home to Newcastle they will fancy themselves, and even away to City. So I still don't think those games are that bad the way they make it look on paper. But what I'm saying is, of the 4 games that they're playing next, Wolves is the easiest. It's at home. They have to beat Wolves, and I think that they're going to do it. Then the final game for the weekend is United. United is going away to Spurs. These 2 teams are confused, right? Spurs, they've had all their issues. But to be fair to Spurs, they had a lot of injuries. Spurs, most of their issues is due to injuries. Almost all their defenders, their keeper, almost like 10 to 11 of their first team players all injured, right? So the guy is playing with academy players and the rest. It's not easy. That's one thing to say about Spurs. As for United, after the change of manager, I don't still know what is happening, right? And despite all the issues that Spurs have and the fact that they are playing with academy players and the rest, Spurs are favourites to win this game, because they've already beat United twice this season. The first one, they beat United 3-0. Second one, it was that EFL Cup that they knocked United out 4-3. And if you look at that game, they were leading 3-0 at a point. United was playing the ball, holding the possession, and Spurs was scoring the goals, right? I've not looked at the team sheet to see if maybe any of their injured players is back or something like that. But even the team that they put out that played against Aston Villa, I just don't trust United. United is not creating enough chances. They're just relying on moments. And I think that Spurs will be fired up for that game at home. They need to get a result in front of their fans because of what has happened, to them, from losing to Liverpool, then going to lose to Villa. I feel like Spurs will be under real pressure and they will come out fighting. So for United, it's a bad time to play Spurs, right? It would have been better for Spurs to have won all those games, and then you are going to play them than them already losing all these games. So Spurs will be ready. Will United be ready? I'm not sure. I'm not sure United will be ready. I have Spurs as favourite to win this game. Yeah, I have Spurs as favourite to win the game, unfortunately. It's sad to say, but United, they don't look like they are ready. And we've seen Spurs at home. They can blow any team away. We've seen Spurs. We look at the game against Chelsea. Boom, before 10 minutes, they are 2-0 up. That's typical Spurs for you. And all this 3-4-3 United is playing, those backline, the spaces we give Spurs, it will just play into their hand because they have fast players, all their Son and the rest, and they will exploit it. So for me, that's going to be a Spurs win. I have Spurs as favourite to win the game. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of my prediction for the week. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Tell me what your own predictions are. Tell me if you agree or if you disagree, and you can give me the reasons why. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Bye.